name's Vince Walsh. I'm the Professor of Human Brain Research here at the Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience, and I'm also a Royal Society Industry Research Fellow, which means I'm seconded for a few years, 50% of my time, to work in industry and the so-called real world. So I wouldn't say I have a single big research question. I would say I've got three strands of work which are very important to me. The first is one that I've built my research on over the past 20 years, human brain stimulation. What can we learn by applying magnetic and electrical currents to the human brain and stopping it from functioning for a few seconds? And that's now led to the attempts to make some clinical applications from that work. So here at the ICN we're going to start to try and open a clinic for depression, for example. So that's the first line, magnetic brain stimulation in humans. The second line is sleep research, which is new to me, but when I looked at the textbooks of research, I realised that 37% of our lives, sleep, was not represented in cognitive neuroscience. So I'm now looking at the effects of sleep on learning and memory and well-being. And the third is working with elite sports groups in British sports, so British Olympic teams, to help apply the principles of psychology and neuroscience to training, decision making, skill learning, and athlete and coach development. I've found areas of the brain that are really important for what I call magnitude processing, how it is you learn about time and space and number. And this has been a really new finding in our understanding of cognitive development. Another finding in the field of brain stimulation has been to use different methods of brain stimulation in order to look at the effects on mood and depression. In the sleep world, we've definitely found that some aspects of sleep, some different phases of sleep, are important for different types of learning, and that includes learning skills and learning facts and learning things like new sporting skills or musical skills. And in the sport world, I'm not doing research. What I'm doing is using science in order to help people. But what I've found there is that really, if you find the right kinds of applications of science, you can really accelerate the learning that an athlete can do. The sport work is important because sport in the UK employs about 500,000 people, generates about 2.5% of GDP. It's not just a game people play, it's a real industry. So that's the economic importance. The cultural importance is that sport is an enormous unifying cultural constant in British society. And the third is that it might help us win more gold medals, and that would be sufficient for me, the last one of those. The sleep work is important to me because it is 30%, it's important to society because it's 37% of our lives. We work for 19 or 20% of our lives and drive ourselves nuts about them without really considering how to take hold of and control that 37% of our lives. So it's important to society because I think sleep is one of the big pieces of low-hanging fruit in health and well-being in the mad modern lives that we lead. And the brain stimulation is important to society because it might lead to the development of new therapies, and indeed has in the case of depression. I have to say my current focus in all of my work now is not to ask, is it just scientifically interesting, but does it have some payoff for society? So everything I do now has a payoff for society. That's why my group is called the Applied Cognitive Neuroscience Group.